Hello mathematicians, I hope that you're having a great week. This week for our independent work, we're going to try something new. We're going to do an Edpuzzle video. You'll watch the video and you'll answer questions as you go. Once you've answered the question, you'll see if your answer was correct or not. If you get confused, or if you want to go back and rewatch something, that's fine. Just pause the video and rewind. You're going to do a great job. Let's dive right in. First, what is a percent? Today we're going to talk about fractions, decimals, and percents. We need to know what a percent is. We see percents all over in our lives. You might see a certain percent off for a sale. We pay a certain percent as a sales tax when we buy things. And if you go out to eat, or if you order food, or a variety of other places, you may pay a certain percent of your total as the tip. So what does percent mean? Percent is a rate out of 100. We can use that knowledge to help us convert between fractions, decimals, and percents. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. The objective of this lesson will be to convert between fractions, decimals, and percents. You can do it. Let's dive right in. Let's start by remembering how to convert between fractions and decimals. Let's convert 3/5 to a decimal. What operation can I use to convert 3/5 to a decimal? I can divide. Remember that every fraction is a division problem, numerator divided by denominator. So, to convert 3/5 to a decimal, I can divide. Numerator, 3, divided by denominator, 5. And remember, 3 is the same as 3 0/10 or 3 0/100. I'm not adding any value. The first thing I need to do in this division problem is bring my decimal point straight up to make sure that the digits in my quotient are in the right place. Now I can divide. Can 5 go into 3? No, it can't. Can 5 go into 30? Yes, it can. How many times does 5 go into 30? 5 goes into 30 6 times. After I divide, I multiply. What's 6 times 5? It's 30. Now I can subtract. What's 30 minus 30? It's 0. I have no remainder, so I can finish my division there. 3/5 is equivalent to 6/10, or 60/100. They're the same thing. Let's try another example. Convert 17/20 into a decimal. How would I set up my division problem? I would do 17 divided by 20. So 17 would go inside my division sign, and 20 would be my divisor. Now I can divide. Let's start. 20 doesn't go into 1, and 20 also doesn't go into 17. So I'm going to start with 170. How many times does 20 go into 170? 20 goes into 170 8 times. What's 8 times 20? 8 times 20 is 160. When I subtract, what do I have left over? I have 10, and I can bring down my 0. How many times does 20 go into 100? 20 goes into 100 5 times. What's 5 times 20? 5 times 20 is 100. I can subtract, and I have no remainder. So 17/20 is equal to 85/100. Now let's talk about converting decimals to fractions. To convert a decimal to a fraction, I can just write it as the digits over the place value. What place does 0.63 end in? It ends in the hundredths place. So this is 63/100, or 63/100. Now you try one. Convert 0.52 into a fraction. Well, it ends in the hundredths place. It's 52/100. So it's 52/100. Now you have a chance to practice. Convert 5/8 into a terminating decimal. Go ahead and do that now. 5/8 is equal to 625 thousandths. Let's try another. Convert 12/16 into a decimal. Go ahead and try that now. 12/16 is the same as 75 hundredths. Now let's convert two decimals to fractions. Write 0.4 as a fraction. That decimal is 4/10. Now try writing 0.72 as a fraction. That fraction is 72 hundredths. Now let's talk about converting between decimals and percents. Remember, percent means out of 100. We can use that to help us. I can write any number as that number over 1 or divided by 1, because any number divided by itself is 1. To convert a number to a percent, we need the denominator to be 100. Remember that to create an equivalent fraction, I can multiply by the same number in the numerator and denominator. 1 times 100 is 100, so I can multiply the numerator times 100 to find an equivalent fraction. Also remember, in 5th grade, we multiplied by powers of 10. When I multiply by 100, that's 10 to the second power, so place value is going to increase twice. To show place value increasing twice, I can move the decimal once, twice to the right. So 82 hundredths is the same as 82 over 100, or 82%. To change a decimal to a percent, I can multiply by 100 or move the decimal 2 times to the right. Let's try another one. Convert 4/10 to a percent. Well, again, I can multiply times 100 over 100 to create an equivalent fraction that will turn it into a percent, or move the decimal 2 times to the right. So once, twice. The 4 is now in the tens place. That is 40 over 100, or 40%. Now you try one. Write 615 thousandths as a percent. Again, I can multiply by 100 or move the decimal twice to the right, once, twice. That is 61 5/10%. Try another. Convert 2 hundredths to a percent. Again, we can multiply by 100, move the decimal once, twice, and so our answer is 2%. We can use the same line of thinking to convert percents back to decimals. Remember, percent means out of 100, so 73% means 73 out of 100. That's a division problem, 73 divided by 100. Just like multiplying by 100 was multiplying by 10 to the second power and increased the place value twice, dividing by 100 decreases the place value twice. This means that the decimal point appears to move once, twice to the left, and so 73% is the same as 73 hundredths, 0.73. To convert a percent to a decimal, we can divide by 100, or move the decimal twice to the left. Let's do another example. Write 72 4/10% as a decimal. Again, I can divide by 100 because this would be 72 4/10 over 100. That means I can move the decimal once, twice to the left. So the answer is 724 thousandths. Now you try to. Change 6% into a decimal. Let's see how you did. Again, I can divide 6 divided by 100, so I can move the decimal once, twice to the left, because place value decreases twice. The correct answer is 6 hundredths. Try one more. Change 0 5/10% into a decimal. Let's see how you did. Again, I can divide by 100. It appears that the decimal moves once, twice to the left. So the answer is 5 thousandths. Now let's practice. Change 75 hundredths into a percent. Well, let's see how you did. Again, to change it to a percent, I can multiply times 100 over 100 to create a fraction over 100. That means it appears the decimal is moving once, twice to the right. 75 hundredths is 75%. Let's do another. Change 61 hundredths into a percent. Let's see how you did. Again, it appears the decimal moves once, twice to the right, because we're multiplying by 100. 61 hundredths is 61%. Let's do another. Turn 45 thousandths into a percent. Well, I can multiply by 100 over 100. It appears that the decimal moves twice to the right. The answer is 4 5/10%. Try another. Turn 7/10 into a percent. Well, when I multiply by 100, and it appears the decimal moves twice, I get the answer, 70%. Now let's convert 2% back to decimals. Write 53% as a decimal. This time I have 53 over 100, so I can divide 53 divided by 100. It appears that the decimal moves once, twice to the left, so the answer is 53 hundredths. Turn 4% into a decimal. Well, when I divide by 100, I get 4 hundredths. Now let's start part 3, converting between fractions and percents. Let's convert 73% into a fraction. Remember, percent means out of 100. That means I can write this fraction as 73 hundredths. Let's do another. Write 8% as a fraction. Well, that's just 8 over 100. Now, to convert fractions to percents, we can use what we've already learned about converting fractions into decimals and then converting decimals into percents. So let's do 3/4. Start by converting 3/4 into a decimal. How do you write 3/4 as a decimal? 3/4 written as a decimal is 75 hundredths. Now I can convert that decimal to a percent. Remember, to convert a decimal to a percent, I can multiply to create a fraction over 100. So I can multiply 75 hundredths times 100. What's 75 hundredths times 100? Well, I can move the decimal point once, twice to the right. The answer is 75%. So 3/4 is the same as 75%. Let's try a few more. Convert 5/8 into a percent. Again, start by converting 5/8 into a decimal. Go ahead and do that now. What is 5/8 written as a decimal? 5/8 written as a decimal is 625 thousandths. Now I need to convert that decimal into a percent. Go ahead and convert 625 thousandths into a percent. Let's see how you did. Remember, to convert a decimal to a percent, I can multiply by 100. The answer is 62.5%. I move the decimal twice to the right. Let's try another. Convert 14/25 to a percent. Go ahead and convert 14/25 to a decimal. 14/25 is the same as 56 hundredths. Now let's convert that decimal to a percent. Go ahead and convert 56 hundredths to a percent. When I multiply by 100, or move the decimal twice to the right, the answer I get is 56%. Now you'll have a chance to try a couple completely on your own. Change 12/15 into a percent. Don't forget to change it to a decimal first. Go ahead and try that now. 12/15 is equal to 8/10, or 80 hundredths, and that is equal to 80%. Try another. Convert 3/12 into a percent. Go ahead and do that now. 3/12 is equal to 25 hundredths, or 25%. You've done a great job on this video. You are now finished.